I'm going to give you 6 more farms that work perfectly in the Minecraft 1.17 update. Many of them also work in previous versions. I'm also going to give you this on a world download for Java. We're going to do this block by block, so don't you go anywhere. Hello everyone and welcome to another Minecraft farm tutorial with me, Avomance, in the Minecraft 1.17 Caves and Cliffs update. Today I'm following up on my 7 starter farms you need in Minecraft 1.17 video with another 6 starter farms. These will mostly, not all of them, work in earlier versions as well, but these are perfectly designed to work in Minecraft 1.17. And no, you don't have to do it in a snowy biome, except for one of them, and I'll tell you when we get there. That's why I'm surrounded by snow. I'm going to build these 6 Minecraft farms with you block by block, and then I'm going to offer the entire world on a download so you kind of come and have a sniff around them yourself. The download will be in Java because it won't be any good in Bedrock. Bedrock hasn't got this update yet. Now, unlike the last starter farms video, this starter farm video will require you to go to the Nether for a few items, specifically for quartz, because there is the odd observer. But if you're anything like me at the beginning of the game, I jump in the Nether, grab what I need and jump straight back out again, and then don't go back for a little while. So that's an option. First off, we are going to make this cactus farm, and this cactus farm requires absolutely no redstone. Ignore the fact that we built a cactus farm inside a snowy biome. I know it's mental. Don't worry about water freezing. We're going to sort that as well. And don't you do it in a snowy biome. That would just be daft. Everything you need to make this farm is inside this chest. Take a screenshot, note it down, pause the video, whatever works for you. But be advised, these 16 dirt are temporary blocks. You are going to get those back and you're going to use those to help the construction. And this 117 glass is completely optional. You don't have to use it. It puts a wall around the farm which stops mobs from falling into it and also stops the very occasional cactus from glitching on top of the wall. First thing you do is build an 11 by 11 square with the corners cut off using your spruce logs. Now choose which side of your farm is going to be the front, and on the inside of your front dig yourself a 1 deep trench the entire width, and then dig that one out, dig that one out, dig that one out, so you've got a 3 by 1 2 deep right at the very end. Come outside, grab your chest, and in the first 2 pop a chest there and a chest there. Get yourself your stairs and put upside down stairs like that, so you can still access it, but it creates a barrier on this side. Just stops anything getting in or out. Get your hopper and shift click into the chest so as it is flush with that area of the farm. That is stage 1 complete. Now get your 16 temporary blocks. Lay them out inside your farm in a 4 by 4 grid, so none of them are next to the sides and none of them are next to each other. On top of those temporary blocks, place your planks or whatever structural block it is. You just want a block that isn't going to act under gravity, so not sand and not gravel. These spruce planks are being used again because of the spruce farm we made in the last video. And come inside your farm and take your temporary blocks back because you will be needing them again in a little while. On top of your planks, put the sand down. The easiest way of doing the next bit is to come up on top of 2 of your temporary blocks, jump across, plant 2 more temporary blocks there, and then jump onto the block here. Grab yourself one of your spruce fences and place it there. Come across to this next side, place 2 more temporary blocks there and put another spruce fence there. So you've got a spruce fence between each of the pylons. You need to repeat this across all 16 and then remove the temporary blocks. You should have your 8 fence posts in like that. So each of these towers has a fence post between them. You don't need it down the center because that has got that fence post there and that has got that fence post there. So you don't need to repeat it. Only put 8 fence posts in. And now you need to place a cactus on top of each of the sand. Again, the best way to do this is get yourself up on top of one of your sand columns and jump your way down to one of the corners and then just place a cactus on any of the blocks that you are not standing on. Don't place a cactus on the block that you are standing on because they're prickly and they're going to hurt your feet and you'll end up killing yourself, and that's probably not a good idea. Now the next steps is why it is not best to do this in any snowy biome or any place that is going to have the water freeze, because I've got to lay down some water. So don't do this in a snowy biome. I've only done it because there is one of these farms that really needs to have the snow. Now, in order to avoid that freezing, I'm going to be using these trapdoors and waterlogging them. You don't have to do that if you're not doing anything in a snowy biome. Grab a water bucket and pop a water there. Then grab another one and pop a water there. That will create an infinite water source between the 2 blocks. Collect the water from that, come along 2 and pop some water there. It does the same thing, infinite water source. That there, and that there. So you've got water flowing all the way down to the end, but you'll notice it does not go over the end. And then exactly the same, place a water bucket right down there. That will flow all the way to that hopper, but not on top of the hopper. And that means anything that drops into this water stream will be flowing down this way, will go into the stream at the bottom and end up in the chest. So let me just demonstrate by lobbing some of this dirt in there. That all flows across the bottom, goes down there, goes into the hopper, and I can collect them up inside this chest as soon as they're done. Now that, theoretically, is actually the farm completely functional. And this is the bit where that glass comes in. If you want to put a row of glass all the way around, and I'd suggest 3 deep if you're going to do it, then this is the point in which you do it. This is a really simple passive farm with absolutely no redstone. Now, I warn you, this is not a rapid farm. It will take quite a while for this cactus to collect inside your chest, but it will come over time. And you can expand this to as big as you would like. You can put as many stories on it as you would like. You can have this going all the way up to build limit, which in Minecraft 1.17 is really, very, very big. The next farm is a bamboo or sugarcane farm. I'll show you how to make the bamboo farm first, which is what's behind us, and then I'll show you how to adapt it ever so slightly to turn it into a sugarcane farm. It is the tiniest little change. This one works really simply. The bamboo grows up past those pistons, and when it grows over the face of the observer lets out a little redstone fart which fires the pistons and causes the bamboo to drop on the floor, which is collected with a minecart with hopper. What you need for this farm is inside this chest. So looking at the top 2 rows here, no matter whether or not you're building bamboo farm or sugarcane farm, you are going to need the items in these top 2 rows. If you're building a bamboo farm, you're going to need 40 structural blocks and 8 shots of bamboo. And if you're building the sugarcane farm, you're going to need 42 lots of spruce planks, or whatever block it is you're using, the sugarcane, and an additional single bucket of water. We'll do the bamboo version of this farm first. I'll show you how to convert it into a sugarcane farm, which is really easy at the end. Dig out a 2 wide hole and place a double chest like that in it, and then dig a hole next to it, 2 wide, and shift click 2 hoppers inside there. If I remove that chest, you can see the nib of the hopper is sat there waiting to float into this double chest. And then, not counting this first hopper, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and on the 9th one, place a structural block, and then come to the end, and on top of this hopper, using shift click, place another structural block. You then want to put a powered rail there and in a row all the way along, and you should find that that is 8 powered rails. Bang straight into that, put a lever at the end, flip that on, and you'll see that powers all of those rails. Then get yourself whatever structural block you're going to be using. I'm using these spruce planks because of the spruce farm we did in the last episode, and I'm going to put those all the way along the back. That blocks that out, and then I'm going to grab some spruce trapdoors, again spruce for exactly the same reason. I'm going to come along and I can flap those up, and we know that that will then be accessible at any point should anything go wrong with the minecart that we're going to put on a little bit later. Next step is to get yourself 8 dirt and place 8 dirt on top of these 8 rails until you've got yourself a platform right there like that. Next, we need to build up this farm a little bit, so place these structural blocks along this way so you're the same level of the dirt, and then come up again 1 more exactly the same way, so you should have 1 block above the level of the dirt now, and then come to the other side and place a temporary block there. I'm just going to use the glass clips in my hand and put in a row of glass all the way along to the end exactly like that. We then need to pop in some pistons and also an observer. Standing on top of your glass, place a piston so as it faces all the way in like that towards where you're standing, and then grab another little bit of glass and run the glass along the front like that. Bring up that back layer there, you may as well, and then place a block on the back of the piston. I would recommend you just use exactly the same structural block as you have before, exactly like that. And if you want to, you can kind of fill in that side because it's a little bit ugly because you can see the side of the piston. Now at this point you have got a choice. You can either place 1 observer, 2 observers, or even up to 8 observers depending on the resources that you've got. If you want to place 1 observer, then come onto top of these pistons here and using shift click so you can come out to the back of this block, Place it so the redstone bum is facing backwards. You can see that there. If you want to put multiple observers, then place them as many as you want across these pistons. You can use whatever random pattern of observers you would like. I'm going to place an observer on each one because I'm in creative and I can use however much resources I possibly can. But this does work if you've got just a single observer. And then come on top of your observers and link them all up with a redstone line exactly like that, and then increase the level of your farm one more row. Now you often see these farms much taller than this, but in reality if you've got a complete row of observers, this is as tall as it ever needs to be. If you've got a single observer in the middle, then feel free to make it a little bit taller because you might get some bonus bamboo. But I'm just going to put a lid on this. Before I do, however, I've got to put in the bamboo. Stand on the glass and crouch, and as a result of it only being 3 height, you should be able to reach all of these blocks. And then all I've done is I've put some slabs across the top, hung 2 lanterns right there, so as that gives enough light inside to stop any mobs from getting in the way, not that they should anyway. And the last thing we need to do is just come along here, open up one of these sides, get ourselves our minecart with hopper, and pop that on there, and that'll keep rolling and rolling, collecting up any of that bamboo that gets smashed off as a result of it going in front of the face, firing the piston. To hide up the dirt, just stick yourself some upside down spruce stairs, and that makes a really nice finish. Now to change this up to a sugarcane farm, all you need to do is place a few more blocks. Take out this row of blocks at the back, you can see the dirt is exposed, and then bring a row of other blocks all the way along until you've got just one hole left. Then grab yourself your water bucket and reach inside. Doesn't matter where you put it, but just put it somewhere in the middle. Place that, select that block and replace it, and then finish that off. You have then got a water stream next to the dirt, and that means you can exchange that bamboo for sugarcane. And it works in exactly the same way. The sugarcane grows up, hits that observer face, and as a result it fires the piston, knocks the sugarcane off, and that gets collected up by the minecart with hopper. Next up, we've got a completely automatic wall farm. For this farm, you need the following items. Take a screenshot, make a list. That's exactly what you need, by the way. I have made it. Some of this is for decoration, for example, the spruce log and the steps. Utterly for decoration, you don't really need them, but to be honest, you want it to look at least a little bit nice. The automatic wall farm is actually a lot more simple than it looks. I'm going to do a single pod wall farm, but you can triple pod it, you can make multiple pods, it's entirely up to you. Come and dig out a 2 wide hole. Put the chest in the front and a hopper pointed into the chest using shift click into the back. Place a rail on top of that by shift click and a dirt on top of the rail. You can then place a minecart with hopper on top of that dirt like that, and that shouldn't now move. Now what we need to do is we need to grow the grass up to the dirt, and we need to make sure that we've got at least a 1 platform coming out the back. So dig out 1 and dig out 2, and then the grass here will slowly grow onto that block, and then onto that block, and then onto that block. And once you've done that, you can do the next bit. Once the grass has grown up, choose one of the sides, either this side or this side, and place your observer into it so the redstone bum is facing outwards. What that'll do is that'll detect when this grass becomes dirt and when it goes back to grass again, and it'll let out a little redstone fart. Then place yourself a block on the back of the observer, exactly like that, and then come up to the top and place a dispenser facing in towards the grass. You may need to shift and pull out a little bit slightly, go right to the back so as it is facing in towards the glass. Then pop yourself a set of shears, you can maybe fill it up with shears if you wish, and put a dot of redstone on the top of that block. Now functionally this is pretty much done. However, the sheep are not going to stand there without you making them stay there. You've got to trap them. And the simplest way of doing that is nothing more complicated than making a donut out of glass that is too high and has a hole in the middle where your sheep is going to stand. You can get your sheep in by getting them to walk up these stairs whilst holding wheat in exactly the same way as I did with the cow farm in the last video. If you're not sure, go and have a look at the cow farm. It will tell you exactly what to do. Now that is actually a completely functional farm. You need to do absolutely nothing else to that whatsoever. However, I can't stand it because it needs to be beautified a little bit. So just let me put a bit of trim on it. Bear with me. That is at least vaguely better. This farm works dead easily. The sheep eats the grass then turns into dirt. The observer sees the grass turn into dirt and it shoots out the shears which snips that sheep. those walls fall through the dirt because the hopper minecart underneath it can pick them up, shove them into the chest at the bottom, and then the grass grows back from the second piece of dirt at the back that has currently got a bit of grass on it. It's under the glass, that'll be fine. Once that dirt grows back, that grass is available and it will snip the sheep again. Next up is the mini melon and pumpkin farm, and this one is going to give you melons and or pumpkins at the same time, completely automatically. You don't have to do anything at all. Let's build it. This is what you need for this farm. Take a screenshot, write it down, pause the video, whatever works. These are the exact items that you need for a single module of this farm. Like the wool farm, this one is pretty simple. Get yourself a row of 4 by 1 and dig that out just one deep at one end. Pop in a chest like that. Grab 2 hoppers and shift click them into that chest so they go into each other and then into the chest. And then grab yourself a walker bucket and a slab. I'm using a spruce slab because of the spruce farm that we did again, but it doesn't have to be, it can be any slab you like. And then make yourself a little bit of room in a 2 by 2 square on each side of these 2 hoppers here. Get a piston, and on either side, doesn't matter which, place a piston there and a piston there facing in towards the hoppers, and then come around the back of the pistons and place a observer just here and another observer right there, so the redstone bum is facing outwards. Then grab a block and put the block behind each of those pistons. We're not going to put the redstone down just yet, but we will do so very, very shortly. Then grab yourself some glass and trim up the glass so you've got a row of 5 glass around there, and then come around the front and place glass 1, 2, 3, 4, but not over the chest, because over the chest you want to put some upside down steps so you can access it very, very easily. And then come up on top and make yourself another row of glass all the way around, exactly like that, and then come across the middle. Don't worry about putting anything in these 2 slots just yet, because we'll do that in just a second. Now this puppy is completely modular, so you can do a massive row of these, you could even do a stack of them. It's entirely up to you how you do it. I'm just doing a single one so it's easy for you to see. All we've got to do now is connect up the redstone after planting up the melon and the pumpkin, and you can do one or both, it's entirely up to you. Now hoe the block in front of the observer, not the one in front of the piston, and then plant up the melon or the pumpkin seed depending on what it is you want to plant. It's entirely up to you. Replace the glass at the top. If you don't put that lid completely on, it may find that you get a little bit of wastage with the pumpkin or the melon not popping into the hoppers but popping next door, and that's not what you want. Then right in the middle, place yourself a lantern. That will give enough light inside to stop spawn-ins, and anything can grow whether it is nighttime or daytime. And then behind the observer, place a redstone stream up on top of the block, and the same on the other side. Redstone there and redstone there. When the observer sees the growth of that melon and it turns into a full stalk, and then it grows a melon or a pumpkin, it will change its shape. It will see the shape change and it will fire out the redstone signal out of its redstone bum, and it will shoot the piston, which will shoot the melon or the pumpkin straight into those hoppers to be collected here inside the chest. Really, really simple. Now, like the cactus farm, this one isn't going to give you a bazillion pieces every minute. However, it is modular, as I said earlier, so you can build a number of them, and the more you build, the more you're going to get. Next is the Basalt generator, and to be honest, this isn't a particularly starter farm, I will admit, but the comments from the last video were so strong that you wanted a Basalt generator in this list that I'm doing it for you, and I'll just show you it now. It is super simple, really compact and tiny, and takes no time at all to make. However, some of the ingredients maybe are slightly more difficult to get than your normal starter farm. It's not too bad. Using it couldn't be more simple. Come right up to this step here, just mine out that basalt, and it will regenerate itself as the lava hits that ice. Like normal, everything is in this chest. Take a screenshot. That is exactly what you need to be able to make the farm the way I am making it, and I'm going to show you now. Now this farm seems a lot more complicated than it actually is. You need to place down yourself a double chest like that, and then behind that create a row of 3 hoppers, 1, 2 and 3, using shift click. So as you can see, the nib of the hopper is pointing into that chest and it will collect it. And then place yourself using shift click 1, 2, 3 rails on those 3 hoppers. These are temporary and that's absolutely fine. And then take out those 3 so as you'll be able to access those. You can see you can kind of grab that rail like that, and then put a row of blocks along the back get an upside down step there, a normal block there, and then get 3 minecart with hoppers, 1, 2 and 3, like that. So they should sit very nicely, and then you can remove those rails exactly like that, and then place a row of those blocks all the way out the way. So these are set, they're not going to be able to move out. Whatever you do, don't remove that end one or that end one, otherwise they'll roll out. And then you need some temporary blocks. Grab yourself a temporary block and place it on the back there, and then another one next to it, and then get 3 soul soil, really important that it is soul soil, and place them over where those mine carts are. You then want to get a piston, and the piston needs to come above the soul soil, so you need another block there, that can go there, and then a piston facing down towards that block, and then you need to do it again that side, piston facing down, make sure it is facing down, and another one on this side, piston facing down. And then we need to push this soul soil into those mine carts. So grab yourself a lever, place the lever on the middle one and throw it. That will throw all 3 of those pistons because that lever powers all 3 blocks. Unpower that, and that soul cell is now sat inside those minecart with hoppers. That's really important, otherwise the farm won't work. Now you can remove all this temporary stuff, put it back into storage and use it for another project. Now choose one of the 2 sides, it really doesn't matter which side you use, and place 3 blue ice. It's really important that it's blue ice, again it won't work. You can make 1 blue ice by having 9 packed ice in a crafting table. You can make packed ice by having 9 normal ice in a crafting table. So not super starter, I agree, but not that difficult really. You now need to continue the ring around here, but you need to make sure that you make a trench that is 2 by 3. So come out with a block there, and then on this side you need to bring upside down steps 1, 2 and 3, and then on this bit go there and there, put a warped planks, or you could use crimson wood if you wanted to as well. You want a wood that doesn't burn, and on this side you want to place upside down steps there as well. You can then remove that block, it's not necessary, and get yourself back up. You could perhaps use your temporary blocks to get yourself back up on top here, and then opposite the middle of your blue ice place your lava bucket. That lava bucket flows onto the blue ice, and where it touches it, it turns into basalt. It's like magic, we like it very much. That can come out now because we don't need it anymore, and then we can place a lid. I'm using just a slab of the same structural block that I've used here. This is deep slate brick, we are in 117 after all, and I'm just going to put a lid on top. The only reason to do this really is to ensure that things don't fall in that lava, because no one wants that in their life, and it could cause the lava, I don't know, maybe it could cause it to turn to stone if you put a bucket of water in there. Maybe your favourite horse will get up on top of it and burn to death. Whatever, I don't know, it's entirely up to you what you do with your lava. But that is a completed farm, although I like to put a lantern in each corner just to give a little bit of light, like that. Now the next farm is a powdered snow farm, but this is the manual version. I have done an automatic version, the link is in the description below, and you can pop and see that if you want to automate this process. But this is a manual powdered snow farm, and this is the reason why we are in this snowy biome. Now, I do feel a little bit of a fraud telling you that this is a farm the same way as the other farms are. It is more of an array really that will allow you to collect up powdered snow. I'm going to show you how to do it now. Everything you need is in the chest, and I warn you, there are quite a lot of things. Okay, there's not a lot of things. You've got however many cauldrons you want to make the farm the size that it is, and a load of buckets. The chest is only there for storage. I guess theoretically you could use your own inventory. I warn you, this one is really complicated. So you can see over time these cauldrons fill up with snow, and the more cauldrons you got, the more snow you are likely to get. They do it very, very slowly. This is not a super fast farm. So if you want lots of snow, you're going to need to have lots of cauldrons. But to collect up the snow, you have to have a full cauldron. So this one here in the middle, left click on that, bang, and I have got a powdered snow bucket, which I can pop that down there. And if I then stand on it, you can see I start to freeze to death really, really quickly. The frosting comes around the edges of my screen, and yeah, it wouldn't be too healthy to stay in here for too long. It's actually a really good way to kill certain mobs. So there you have it, 6 more farms for Minecraft 1.17 that work beautifully, well at least most of them, in the previous versions of well. If there are any other farms that you'd be interested in me having a little pop at designing, do let me know in the comments below. I would really love to hear from you. If you have enjoyed that video, please do remember to slap that like button. It'd be great to know you're enjoying them, and I will keep on making them. Also, if you're not done already, please do hit that subscribe button. It'd be great to see you in my sub club, and I look forward to seeing you in another video. You take it easy now. Bye.